First of all, I would like to welcome all of you and thank you very much for joining this online teaching today. Actually, the plan was we wanted to do this day-long retreat teaching together in a person in Minneapolis, but not online, but due to the COVID situation, we couldn't do it. So instead we do this day-long teaching online, which is good for those who are not from here, Minnesota. And I'm grateful to have this opportunity to teach here, all of you, and we are able to do this together over the Zoom. It's been a long time. We have not been able to do a day-long retreat together like this, especially day-long teaching online. So it's nice to see all of you through the Zoom again. So again, welcome all of you. Together do the Dharma teachings and practice together. So it's nice to be here with all of you and spend time with all of you in practice together. So I'm very happy to have this opportunity and to see all of you. It's been great. We all healthy and we all survived under this kind of difficult situation so far. So I hope these teachings will be beneficial, and I hope you will learn something from these teachings today, and I hope you're going to enjoy the time we spend together. That's very important. And I'm very happy, and I would like to share with you some of the most important instructions from the Great Master Nyingma Master Longchenpa. One thing that I want to let you know that those you are come from different countries and different places, if you can't finish the whole teaching today, if you can't stay like until, maybe some of you are like until midnight because of we have different time zone, right? So if you have to leave, don't worry about it. We'll record this teaching so that you can watch them later. So whenever you need to go, whenever, don't worry. But if you want to stay for whole the teaching, then I will try to finish it around 3 o'clock. So you can stay, that will be great. If you are not too sleepy. And tomorrow is Sunday, so you can sleep a little bit longer. Whatever the best, don't worry, you can leave, you can stay. I want to let you know that. I want to say some prayers to homage Bodhicitta, Longchenpa, and teachers before I start the teaching. Chugan Yambani Ji Yaryans, Rana, Kosum Rotar Joba, Dr. Domungumbo, Longchenpa, to me was a Chabla, Kifians are Yonda Sanji Kandan, Yamna Yang, Garden Sanji Lichan Lapungo. Savala Meshavla Survande, Dasonro, Lorna Chula, Jer, the Sundungarichandra, Chechin, Chen, Yatsome, Hon, Sheverjilla, so Simchin Tola, near the Daktuna. Tamba Namji, Nimta, Tsar, the Sor. So as I said, today I'm going to teach you an important instruction by Longchenpa called a mirror to reflect the most essential, the final instruction on the ultimate meaning. By the way, if you have the root text, you should prepare that because we're going to talk about the line by line. So if you don't have the text, let Colin know and he will send you right away. I think he can. Anyway, but this is Longchenpa. Can you see it? Trungpa Chense Rinpoche made this statue. It's called Ngandama, Longchen Ngandama. It looks like Longchenpa. Okay. So first of all, before we start the teaching, as usual, it's very, very important to correct your motivation and take a moment to generate bodhicitta. You know how to do that, and I just want to remind you of that, and also to make sure that, as usual, you should remember the 3 spring methods. They are setting motivation, maintain concentration, and dedicating at the end. So first, motivation. Motivation is connected with your mind, right? Your intention, your thoughts, your energy as well. So you have to be mindful, make sure that you have benefit motivation. That's how you start. And then second is also important to have a mind free from misconception, which, without distraction, and listen and practice without without losing focus. So or listen and practice, try to practice with a concentration, concentrate mind. At the same time, but you need to remember not too tight, be gentle with yourself. That's very important. And then finally, when we finish, when you have done anything that is good, you should dedicate for the sake of all sentient beings. So these 3 spring methods or 3 excellent methods are important to remember when we practice. Especially like Longchenpa, when he alive, when he taught Dharma, he always talk about these 3 spring methods. So therefore, it's not just for today. Whenever you do Dharma practice or listen teaching with people or just by yourself, you have to remember this 3 spring methods. Okay, not just for today. I just let you know. And I think another important thing is to understand is in order to practice Dharma, we have to really know the benefit of practicing the Dharma. So that's why you're here today. You want to learn something. So that you can practice and you see the benefit of practicing Dharma. So that's very important. That's very fortunate. Without Dharma practice, life is kind of empty, you know. So that's that. I just want to give you some short guidance on how to set up your motivation, and how to finish your practice, right? How to start your practice, how to finish your practice. Not for today, but always. And this is a good place to begin. Even you know all of this, right? 3 spirit methods, how to correct your motivation, dedication, like you know that, but I just want to remind you of that. You know, sometimes we forget, right? We just, sometimes people think that's not important, you know, but it's very important. And now this instruction, this teaching was written by Longchenpa. And of course, many of you know him, but he was one of the most important dzogchen master of Tibet, especially in the Nyingma tradition. Very, very important teacher. He was one of the holders of the Nyingma lineage, and if you really want to become an authentic practitioner, then this practice is so important, especially in the Nyingma lineage. Practice Longchenpa's teachings are so important, and this instruction is what we need to cultivate in our everyday life, you know. And this is what we call oral instructions. Longchenpa himself said that even if we were to meet in a person, I would have no greater instructions to give you than this. You will see this the last teaching, he says that. So I really think that this teaching, this instruction will be of great help to the majority of Dharma students and practitioners, both their practice and as a way to help them to discipline and to behave properly. So teaching means being shown the path and being given the transmission. And then we apply that and we follow that path. And we try to have some kind of realization, and try to look into our own experience. But to have realization and experience, we need an unmistaken sort of instructions in the path, good lineage, good instructions, good methods. Otherwise, we could not have realization. So therefore, you know, me, like it's my responsibility to give you sort of this transmission, this teaching, but that's not enough. You have to understand that, you know, just to receive some teachings will not help you. So you have to practice once you receive the teachings. So if you don't practice them, you receive the teachings, you don't practice them, then it will be difficult to achieve anything. And without practice, you will be separate from your life and from Dharma teachings. So when we receive teachings, what we need to do is, be aware and watch our behavior and check our motivation, and remember to begin with a positive attitude and maintaining sort of kindness towards both ourselves and others. That is very important, right? Now, the root text begin with homage to his guru. That is Ramjam Jarvi Chirnkrantai, Tukjini Pantilni Chigdipi, Pardan Lama Rigji Chabdak Chok, Shabla Nambakan Hyakjo. So I will say in Tibetan so that you can receive the transmission properly, better than in English. So that means it says, if you have the text, it says single embodiment of the compassion, power and activity, Niba, Tenli, activity of the infinite mandala, of the victorious Buddhas beyond measure. Okay. Glorious Guru, Pardon Lama, Supreme Lord of 100 Buddha families, Rigji Chabdakcho, okay. Forever I pay homage to your feet, Shabla Namba Kund Hyakjawos, okay. So actually the great master, Longchenpa, had hundreds of teachers. He received lots of teachings from different traditions, Nyingma Lineage, so he had lots of teachers and teachers from different traditions. But his root teacher was Kumaranza, Rinzin Kumaranza. So so at the beginning of this teaching, Longchenpa prostrates or homage to his guru before he wrote this text. So remember, Paparam, which said that if we respect our teachers with unchangeable devotion and remember their kindness, then blessing of awakened enlightenment is possible. Paparam said that. Because without relying on a spiritual teacher and without receiving their teachings and instructions, achieving enlightenment is impossible, right? So for this reason, before we teach, before we write, before we meditate, before we practice, whenever we do, whatever we do, like something like that, first we need to remember the kindness of our masters, teachers. First, therefore we take refuge, right? Say the refuge prayers, pay homage to our teachers, homage to Buddha Dharma Sangha, and then we also say that the supplications, and remember their kindness, remember their blessings. That is important. That is not just today, it's always very important. When you start to meditate, you sit down, and then you think about 3 jewels, and then you say the prayers, and respect and remember their kindness. That's always important. But also you should know that the ultimate guru is our mind, right? If we pay more attention to the mind, and if we make some effort and are willing to change it, this dualistic mind, then we will understand that the mind has these qualities, such as compassion, power, and wisdom. That's Longchenpa says here. Chinzi nipa jigdipa, chinba, wisdom, nipa, power, and ziva, compassion. We have that, right? If we pay attention to our mind and willing to change this dualistic mind, then we can develop this kind of qualities. So basically, like the inner guru, the ultimate guru is our mind. So we all have a mind. But most of us, don't have such a view to see this ultimate guru. It's because our minds are obscured, right? But I think there's no doubt that if we have a pure perception and genuine devotion, Longchenpa will appear to us like Longchenpa appeared to Nyingma Lineage. He's, 3 times because of, Nyingma Lineage's pure perception and devotion. Longchenpa appeared to him actually 3 times and gave him 3 blessings: body, speech, and mind. That. Or, like Manjushri appeared to Lama Tsongkhapa, or like Mopam Rinpoche appeared to my root teacher, Kajin Jigme Panso, and give him very important advices. Because when a teacher and student who both possess the necessary qualities and capacities come together, then the process of transformation can begin. Then all the pure perception will start right there. And we can see our teachers are the root of all blessings. And the teachers will appear as spiritual teachers to instruct us, advise us, and guide us. If we pay enough attention to our minds, if we have enough genuine devotion, then pure perception is right there. No doubt. We have all these, gurus, deities, and dakinis, but looking for outside, But this essence of all of this is about our minds, if we really understand our minds. We have this precious, holy, or invaluable so-called mind. We have all these amazing opportunities. We have the seed of lotus flower. But if we don't sort of willing to change anything about our emotions, our thoughts, if we don't willing to change our mind, the ordinary mind, and if we focus too much on the outer world, then it will continue to go on and on like this. But if we look sort of our own, our minds, how we feel, how we are, what we are, in doing so, we will find that our basic existence is fundamentally awake and possible. But, you know, at the same time, there are a lot of obstacles. And the number one obstacle that always with us is ego, selfishness. This is the number one obstacle. So we don't want to examine our fundamental belief of self. People don't like to investigate and don't want to, you know, like try to find whether there is a self or not. People don't like that. But this is the main obstacle. So Longchenpa advised us with this, the most essential advice on the ultimate meaning. Here, so let, you know, we talked about that, the teachers like that. Last, the Adisha's teaching, right? We talked about how to find your teacher, how to examine your teacher. If you watch that video, you will know. Because to find a right teacher is so important, but so difficult. There are not many, I mean, you know. So anyway, I will continue talk about this kind of things, but it's very important. You should really investigate and think about, because the devotion, it says like the devotion and blessing. I'm going to teach you all of that. This it's coming, actually, it's coming next line, but it's so important. Anyway, now that's the homage to his root teachers and Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. It's very important. And then it says, Ima Gardinji Namjirwa Sansa, worker Nam Talan Tanji Mili Pansono Toru, Takshinji Tambaran Buchidan, Jar, Tam Churin Jobron, you beat in the Mitzi, Tonzi Tomit the Mason, or Tanjin the Mayandashin Zansals. These are so important. Ima means listen here. You fortunate yogis, Nanjirbas, Gardinji Nanjirba, fortunate yogis. At present, we have achieved the perfect human body of freedom and advantage. Freedom and advantage. We have met the precious teachings of the Mahayana. We now have the freedom to practice the sacred Dharma authentically. Tamchu Tsuryan means authentically. Tamchu means Dharma, sacred Dharma, authentically. Tsuryan Jopi, Rangwan Yopi Tinder, have freedom to practice. So let us not waste our lives in meaningless pursuits, you know, but work towards the genuine, lasting goal, genuine, lasting goal, themselves. Okay, it says like, you know, listen here, you fortunate yogis who is fortunate yogis? The definition of fortunate yogi, as the Lama Tsongkhapa said, is those who are not attached to the pleasure of samsara, those who follow an unmistaken and complete path, who strive to make their life meaningful. Okay, those kind of people are very fortunate ones, according to Lama Tsongkhapa's the definition of fortunate yogis. Okay, so here we're talking about a perfect human life, right? Which is really precious. It says here, we have achieved a perfect human body, freedom and advantages. So here we're talking about perfect human life, which is very precious. Because, you know, there are many human who don't have this kind of freedom, you know, and all this kind of opportunities. So according to Buddhism, this fortunate situation did not really arise by accident. You know, there are many causes and conditions that are necessary to generate this human birth. So you all know what is a precious human life, right? Intellectually, I would say intellectually. We all know, because we all practice human life. So we all know what are the freedoms and advantages, what is precious human life. But to, you know, really feel that having this human life is precious, you know, in deeply, that is really something else. I don't know how much you and we understand that kind of realization, not just all the intellectual understand, you know. Oh, I have, you know, just sit down and think about your life, and oh, I have this precious, I'm so fortunate, I have this, you know, freedom to practice Dharma and all of this, you know, in kind of deeply and actual sort of realization is very real. It's difficult because, you know, too much distraction, and we really don't feel that way. One of the Gelug master, Kong Thangpa, maybe you know him, maybe don't know, Kong Thangpa. He's a beautiful, Tilanchik Nye Pitanjir, the Ton Mandab Lagni, Chornyin Da, Tatarulam La Nyagre, and Ton Tefshik Michang the song, which means birth is a human being. And obtain these ones is at risk of being lost without fulfilling its purpose. So it's time to pursue the path of freedom. So behold this advice. He said, of course, we as an ordinary human being have all this negative sort of emotions and up and down life, you know, situations. That's very normal, but at least to recognize that we have this precious human life is really fortunate. You know, when you kind of like, you know, situation like, you know, your emotions so strong and your life is kind of like up and down, and you don't really see this kind of opportunity, this fortunate. So therefore, to recognize that we have this precious human life, that is really, really fortunate. So that's why Longchenpa says here, that's the first thing when we practice the preliminaries, the outer preliminaries. The first is the precious human life. It's so important to recognize. That's why, same thing here. And also Longchenpa says here, like, we have met the precious teachings of the Mahayana. That is the definition, kind of like, that's why Longchenpa says here, listen, you fortunate ones. You have a freedom to practice. You have a precious human life. You met the very precious teachings of Mahayana. That's why you are fortunate, yogis and yoginis, you know. Do you remember Patrick, which said in the words of my perfect teacher, precious human life, you know, it's as difficult as a blind person accidentally finding a very, very precious treasure in the garbage. And then people say, oh, that would be very fortunate. How do you find that? Very precious treasure and the garbage and without eyes. Then people say, very fortunate. Well, we have all been fortunate enough to be born as a human being. So if we want an authentic practice, then it is absolutely, absolutely necessary to be a human being. But at the same time, we have to remember that, you know, life is short because, you know, time goes so fast. That's why Longchenpa says here, let us not waste our lives in meaningless pursuits. Do not waste your life on sort of pointless things. It means like, please do the ultimate goal or pursue the lasting goal, which means we need to really pay more attention to our minds. If you really think about the mind, it is everything. It is the most invaluable thing that we have. It is the most important thing in our life. Yet, we just do not pay enough attention to it. Let control all these sort of thoughts and emotions and memories and past and future, all these kind of things, right? So we don't really look at it, its essence. As a practitioner, we need to think more about the mind and try to understand our mind. We don't understand our mind at all. I can say that. But maybe you think, oh, I know my mind. You don't know. Your mind, our mind is very limited. But if you really understand your mind, it's limitless capacities. It's just amazing, like, you know. I can say that we really don't know about our minds there are so many things to learn about our mind through meditation. So, we have to always recognize that with this kind of precious human life, if we pursue the path of freedom, one day we will be able to successfully reach the ultimate goal and successfully help others. Therefore, the teachings of Buddha always say that we possess an enlightened essence. So right now, we're just like a seed of a lotus flower in very dirty mud. It's not blooming, the weather is, I don't know, maybe too cold, or there is no rain, there's no water. So right now our body, speech, and mind are very rigid, very wild, right? Untamed, very sensitive, very narrow, But when they are tamed and ripened, then they function very differently. I can see that through the masters, although they're still in samsara. But it's just that once the lotus flower blooming, it's beautiful, even though it's grow out of the mud, right? Dirty mud. I mean, that's necessary. Samsara is necessary in order to grow or to see the nature mind. In order to grow a lotus flower, the mud is necessary. Samsara is not the problem. The problem is the we related to samsara. That's wrong. Samsara itself is beautiful. I mean, it's really important. So if we change the way we related to samsara, we change our minds through dharma practice and using this precious life, there is an enlightenment. Absolutely. With this mind, you will be able to establish whatever you want, happiness and enlightenment and whatever, with the total sort of like this freedom, of suffering, free from suffering. That is actually ultimate goal. And that is what Longchenpa advised us. Please don't waste your time and pursue the ultimate goal. So we have to develop it slowly. Our mind, pay more attention to our mind and our, everything, body, speech, and mind, our attitude. Because having more peace of mind depends on our attitude, right? In daily life, so important. We can't separate meditation time, daily life. It doesn't work like that. How much we are able to practice the good heart each day depends on our attitude in daily life. Daily life is so important. You have to bring, sort of mingle your dharma into daily life, how much we are able to transform our mind into virtue, depends on our attitude in daily life. That's why pay more attention to the mind is very important. The way we think, the way we act, the way we speak, in our daily life, just we have to be aware, observe, in our daily life, within yourself, around of you, everything like that. So you have to really understand the way you think, always just this observation, mindfulness is the key. Anyway, now I need the next is Tambanam dang and Tai takpun jugun tangmang siapa tsukzong jachi yang dak tunji nyo nyamnin shik manina chuji lagam bumtrak mambo lola yo chang chika pangi na kashang. Okay, this is another one. The categories of teaching are infinite. Tambanam Tai, infinite, The entrance doors to the vehicle means yana, takpa, vehicles are countless. So many different, right? Different paths and different methods and different, religions, whatever. The words to be explained are extensive. Word explained and then extensive jachiva. Even if you succeed in memorizing millions of volumes of Dharma scriptures, unless you are able to practice the essential meaning, you can never be sure that they will benefit you at the moment of death. This is so true from my own experience. Fortunately, I have met, like the precious, teachings of Mahayana when I was 7 years old. When I studied, Buddhist philosophy, there were a lot of teachings and commentaries from different traditions and all the teachings of sutras and tantras, and we studied all them, like almost. I mean, it's here it says like it's not all of them because it says like what they said, the words to be explained are extensive. And but yeah, like myself, I studied a lot, year after year. Every day, like many hours. I mean, that's all we did. Studied all of them. Also, we memorized many root texts of this, Buddhist philosophy. But what is the point? Without much meditation, practice, everything become intellectual knowledge, which is just information. That's what Patron Bush says here, right? Even if you succeed, right, and memorize millions of volumes of Dharma scriptures, if you don't practice, what is the point? I mean, I can see it from my own experience. At that time, we just study. We didn't like much really meditate, especially many years, the first time, like I want to study Buddhist philosophy. But then when I need it, it doesn't help. just to memorize them, that's just intellectual. I think that's same to you, like you understand what is four thoughts that change your mind. I'm sure you can count them, blah, 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 blah. But then you have the realization, no. And so we have to really think carefully. Therefore, like I studied almost my whole life, 30 years, Buddhist philosophy. I understand them very, very well. But it doesn't work. And then after that, I start to practice mind training teachings much better. I feel better than Buddhist philosophy. And then I teach in Tibet, the Buddhist philosophy, but I didn't like to teach them. And I come here, I start to teach all the mind training teachings. It's really good. It's just very useful in everyday life, right? If you try to bring them into your everyday life, it's really helpful, the mind training teachings. So please practice as much as you can. Okay? That's what I want to say. Go on a retreat. I mean, not like this kind of retreat, right? We have gathered here lots of people. It's good. It's very good. But sometimes with many people, to go on a retreat like with many people, you always pretend to be something that you are not. There are lots of competitions. You compete each other. And also, you make sort of copies from each other, and then it doesn't fit your practice. Oh, this person meditated this, or maybe I should do that. Oh, this person does this, and maybe you just always try to copy, from each other, and then it doesn't work. And then maybe you think like you pretend something like, oh, I should be very, very good practitioner, Buddhist practitioner, because I've been, studied Buddhism for 20 years, 30 years. And then other people see me, oh, he's really good practitioner. Like they're kind of like, competition. So it's just go on a retreat like privately, like by yourself, It's so important if you really wanted to understand your mind. Go on a retreat doesn't mean like you have to go on retreat for 3 years and this and this. Like those of you are very busy with work, so you can't do it. But just like maybe one day, either Saturday or Sunday, just try to make that habit. Otherwise, you're never ever going to develop the qualities of the mind, So just even like if you're a very busy person, then you just make a time, just one day. One day you can, no matter who, it's just one day. You don't have to go somewhere else. Just stay home, and then close the door. Put your phone in, computer, all these distractions away, and then tell your family, I'm going to practice. I'm going to retreat, and one day they will respect you. You always say like, hey, I'm going to watch this movie and be quiet. And people do that, right? And the same thing at your home. Just go on retreat. And then if you can, maybe like 2 days, just weekend retreat. Or maybe you can't, just do one day and make 4 sessions. If you really need to guide, I can help, more than happy to help you how to make these sections and how to practice. I will happy to help you if you don't know how to do it. And just one day, just be silent and just to try to understand your mind, nothing else. And then those who are retired, people practice, go and do meditation, they go on retreat. What else you do? Like you have, there are 2 things for those who are retired. The good thing is you have lots of time. If you really want to practice, you have the time. Don't make yourself very busy, you know. You have lots of time if you want it. You can practice, go on a retreat like 1 month, 2 months, 100 days retreat. It's so important. And the worst thing is if you, what does that mean? Like you are retired, that means your most of time is already passed. You don't have much time now. You're retired. You have few years. If you're very lucky, maybe you have 20 years. Within 20 years, try to develop the mind. If you really do, you can. So I just really let you know that, you know, like those who are already sort of like retired, you should really focus on your meditation. Longchenpa says, like, please don't waste your time. But those who are not retired, then I understand, you know, you're very busy with your work, but you can make time, like 1 day, 2 day, 3 day retreat, like that. So if you don't practice, don't meditate, for sure, it will, you know, doesn't work. From my own experience, you know, I start like develop, my mind is, I'm kind of understand a little bit now, but the most like 30 years, almost like 30 years, I just just study. No, didn't put those things into my meditation. You know, it's good to understand everything like this, you know, like for example, right now, like I'm very confident, no matter what people ask me, like worldly things and spiritual things, like lots of questions, I'm confident, I like myself, I answered these things, no problem, because I studied these things, but when I need, it's really difficult. Somebody say like, hey, I have a problem with my anger, what should I do? Then I don't have like really good answer, because when I have that kind of emotions, you know, if I don't have experience how to reduce or, you know, diminish my anger, then how you help others? So it's a, you know, it's your time now. You have this precious life. You have this time. You met the precious Mahayana teachings. So yeah, I just want to let you know that just practice. Receive teachings is important, but more important is just meditate. So that's why Longchenpa is saying here that if you are not able to practice the essential meaning or the essence of the teachings, then even if you do understand hundreds of volumes of teachings, it will not bring you much benefit when you have difficult situations or when you need to protect your mind from disturbing thoughts. When you say like you have a really strong disturbing thoughts and you say, oh, it will work, doesn't work like that. You know how to say many mantras, say all these mantras. But when you get angry, when you say this mantra, help? No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. Or when you need to like be aware or observe your mind, you can't just without practice. You can't receive a lot of teachings without practice them. It's dangerous actually. Then the problem is you become, we say in Tibet, like chutit, okay, chutit. Chu means dharma, tit means like, you have no any good feelings for dharma, you know, like you don't have any motivation to practice. There's no inspiration, you know. So when you hear the teachings like today, like for example, when I talk about the precious human life and all of this, you think, oh, I know that, I understand that. That is dit means like, your mind becomes stubborn, like your mind become very rigid, Oh, I understand that. Oh, I heard that this teaching many times. Oh, he said that maybe wrong. That's not what that doesn't mean that. And then you just like, so that's cheated, without, that will happen, only I said, receive teachings without practice, you become a tutor. Means like you don't have any feeling, and you don't really value the teachings of Dharma. So that's why Longchenpa says that, having only intellectual knowledge will not bring you much benefit, especially at the moment of death. When we are facing death, we have all this, all the, worldly sort of, these things like wealth and knowledge and experience, memories, and so forth. These are pointless. These are useless when you are facing death, and it's very, very harmful, right? Then you just attach to all of this, and then so having only intellectual knowledge is like only knowing how to make medicinal herbs, for example, like knowing like how to make a great sort of garlic tea, let's say. But you are actually, you never drinking it. You know how to make, right? You know how to make that tea, but you never drinking it. That's the same thing. You understand the teachings, but you don't practice them. Then when you're thirsty, you don't drink the tea, then what is the point? You know how to make tea, but you don't drink, then what is the point? The Buddhist teachings are like, like the medicine, We must put them into our daily lives, not just to know them intellectually. Okay? So please, meditation is the most important in our lives. If you really want to develop your life, if you really want to understand your life, if you really want to know who you are, if you really want to know why am I here, then the answer is only meditation. So let's meditate for a few minutes here. Okay, we have 5 minutes. So when you meditate, what you need first, I mentioned many times, right? First, you have to establish your motivation or bodhicitta, recognizing this basic goodness of human being. That should be your motivation before you start your meditation. With that kind of good motivation, then you need to, if you are very beginner, then you need to apply very simple meditation with discipline, which is just sit comfortably and breathe very gently. You don't have to focus on anything. Sometimes if you sit, try to, meditate and you have lots of thoughts, it's just really difficult. Calm your mind. You can say Hong, this body, speech, and mind mantra to open and relax your body, speech, and mind. It will help, but you don't have to, not necessary. So once you feel like relaxed, then watch your thoughts. When your thoughts arise, just to watch them without any judgment, whether they are good thoughts, whether they are bad thoughts, just to watch them, just to watch them. As you're aware of your first thoughts, then of course the next thoughts will rise, right? And then just to watch the next thought. You don't have to finish the first thought, which means you don't have to really like follow them, but just watch, just let your thoughts arise, kind of what we say naturally. It's really not natural, but thoughts are not natural, but just try to, don't try to anything like fix or, diminish or control, not like that. So let your thoughts arise. That's why we say naturally. Don't create any sort of particular thought, or don't try to stop your thought. It's just already there. So you just can't stop, So just let it be. And what I'm saying is just to be aware, that's what I'm saying, trying to say. Like, maybe you don't have thoughts, right? Maybe you don't have any thoughts. Your mind is just really like calm and without thought. Then just be aware. If you don't have any thought, just aware of that. Just be aware of whatever in your mind without judgment, without any kind of aim or goal, and without like expectation. Oh, I want this experience. I had a really great experience the last meditation. I want that again. Don't do that. Just to be present moment. Just live your life in present, not past. If you think about past thoughts, your memories, you're not living in this moment. If you think about future, you're not here. So just to be aware, pay attention to your mind. Just be natural. So don't worry about your thoughts. Try not to control them. You can't control. So just to be aware, whatever, arise in your mind. Try to, if you really relax in deep meditation, then go a little bit deeper and deeper and deeper like that. That's how you understand, how you learn your mind function, mind works like that. So just 5 minutes, okay?